sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Bam.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
It's us.
Guess who's back?
A couple of sassholes. Yes, indeed, a roofski.
Yes.
I'm Brooklyn Maple.
And I am Heather Terry.
And this is our true crime podcast about fucked up shit and stuff and things that make you uncomfortable and then also make you feel weird because you're so intrigued by it.
That's right. What if you were like, this is a sports podcast. We just changed the lanes.
No. I have no desire.
Like, that was a joke.
I would hop off of this rodeo.
Faster than what? What analogy?
To shakes of a lamb's tail. That's quick as fuck.
That's what your dad says.
It is indeed. And it's also what Brooklyn says.
Yes. Brooklyn's back. I don't like when she leaves, y'all. I don't like when she leaves. It's very, very, I have separation anxiety. I was shedding a lot. I was weeping.
Shit. I was shitting a lot because I'm so stressed out. My belly's upset.
Oh my God.
I miss you too, sister.
See, don't make me feel desperate. Like, meet me in the middle.
I mean, I hate it whenever you're not here.
Yeah, there we go.
I just don't whine about it. I internalize my pain as I always have.
I use words of affirmation, so I would like to hear that you miss me. And you actually did say it, so.
I did. I do, and I did.
You did.
Anyway.
I appreciate it.
Look at that. Already getting yelled at, and it's only the first minute in the podcast.
Yelled at.
Yep.
Well, we have exciting news.
We do.
She's engaged.
I am.
Y'all, she got engaged.
I did.
She did. I got a FaceTime Friday. I had a feeling, and then I saw it. So, yes.
It was great. It was very exciting. My boo bear popped the big Q. The big question. And it was wonderful and exciting. And I feel like I've waited my entire life for this man to propose. Or just 2 years, 7 months.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's not like I was waiting for him to propose the second we started dating, but I mean,
patience is your virtue.
I'm skilled at it.
She's very, very patient.
Yes. It was wonderful. We were at Kentucky Lake. We were doing this glamping trip with his family. I was actually really hoping that he was going to propose when we were camping at Kentucky Lake because we were there for Friday and Saturday night. And then on Sunday, we went to Panama City Beach for like 3 days or whatever. And I just did not care to get proposed to on the beach because I lived in Florida and that was like a whole different life of mine. And I was just did not want to do that. He could have proposed to me at any time and I would have been just fine. Yeah. But I was hoping for it to happen at Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
And so we were just chit-chatting. I know you didn't ask how we got engaged, but I'm just going to tell the story. I'm like, Heather didn't ask. I already fucking know I wanted to tell all my sassy sassholes what happened. And we were staying in this tiny house, which the tiny house was awesome, except for you had to like climb up these ladders, like this ladder up to the top. And it was high.
It looked like it. It looks like your ears would pop if you went up there.
It was like at night, whenever you had to use the restroom, it was basically like try not to fucking die. I'm not even lying. It was, we talked about it and we were like, I know that's our special place because we got engaged there, but we both don't want to stay there again. It's because of maybe if we were sober, but we were like drinking.
There's no need to have to mountain climb to use the bathroom in the middle
and
of the night.
it literally felt like that.
Yeah, you sent me a Snapchat and it was definitely high altitude.
It was extreme. It was like 18 fucking ladder rings up.
I'm not going to use a fucking carabiner to take a midnight pee.
Right.
So.
And that's what it felt like we needed. Like we were canyoneering, if you will. Anyway, so we were talking about, I was just basically shooting the shit on how much I loved his family and how I loved that they like got together and that we were doing this camping trip. And lately I've been just an emotional little lady. It's like I found my emotions a few years ago and now I cannot suppress them any longer. And I feel hard. And my eyes started doing that thing where they water.
Most people know that as crying.
And so I went to the bathroom to grab a tissue for the fact that my eyes wouldn't stop watering because of my allergies.
Did you blow your nose first?
Probably. And I walked.
You blow your nose so loud.
I do. And it was probably really made things special for him. And I turned and I was like, I just can't seem to stop crying, and I went to wipe my eyes and I was like walking out keeping in mind it's like 6 steps to cover the whole distance of the space. And he was like, well, you're about to cry more. And he got on his knee and he was like, will you marry me? And then I freaked out and I go, I don't know what to do. Because I was like, yes, and crying. And he was like, I go, what do I do now? And he goes, you take the ring and we put it on your finger. And then I started hyperventilating.
Yeah.
I go, I don't want to call, because like hyperventilating, it was a fucking panic attack, but a panic attack to me has always happened when there is extreme duress in my life. This was the most exciting thing that has happened besides meeting Heather Terry in my whole life. Yeah. And I just fucking freaked out and I was so excited and I was so overwhelmed by the emotion and I had wanted it so bad that I had a full blown like fucking panic attack for about 15 minutes that he like was really like he was about to cry at one little moment and then because I couldn't like breathe he thought I was gonna like faint. Yeah, it was really like classy because I can't just seem to do anything and not make it awkward. Gosh, I'm so happy it was private. God forbid that would have been on a camera. But then we went outside and we were waiting for his son to come out. And we were like, how are we going to tell everyone? Because the sun was already down. It's like 9:45 at night. So he was like, just go up to my mom and be like, I heard you wanted to see this. And so that's what I did. I walked up to her. I was like, I heard you wanted to see this. Yeah. And she couldn't see anything, but she clawed, like did a quick grab of my hand to just feel if there was a ring on it. And then like screamed and made me run inside. And that's whenever I had called you. Yeah. So that's what happened. I got engaged.
I know. I love that. And I love that I felt bad because the whole time I was like, I love this story. When I heard it, I was like trying to pretend like I was a surprise again. Right. And I'm like, yay. I mean, I really am excited. And you know that. Yes. I screamed very loud whenever you called and told me.
Yes. And then I came into the office today and had a whole bunch of cute shit because it's time to start planning a wedding. And you know Heather's going to be there every freaking step of the way. Yeah. I've been engaged for 6 days and I have so much anxiety over how expensive it is. Fucking A. Like I'm 30, I'll be 36 when we get married. Travis will be 40 and we are just not the people who are like dying to spend $20,000 of mommy and daddy's money or of our own fucking money for that matter to do this. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to pull it off. We'll figure it out.
You'll pull it off. It'll be great.
Yay to spending a shit ton of money for one day. But I'm excited.
It's going to be a good day.
It fucking better be for that price tag. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. All right, well, what else is going on? Besides the fact that I have a big old rock on my left finger. Hey.
Well, I don't know how to even come back from that one because that's big news. I just wanted to wish Leslie Leonard a happy birthday. She is one of our favorite honorary sassholes. She is an OG.
Oh,
the minute we posted the first. She's a friend of mine and now a friend of Brooklyn's, and we love you. And her daughter turned 7 today, which is even cuter.
Oh, that is cute.
Nora, her daughter, sent me a Snapchat telling me thank you today when I texted her and said, tell my bestie happy birthday. So it's cute.
How cute. Happy birthday.
Yeah, so we just wanted to say that too. Yeah. And then there was a story on here about the sweatpants. I think you need to tell everybody about what happened with we won't name names, but with one of our listeners' children.
Oh, shit fire. Yeah.
I feel like that one needs to.
Yeah. So I was like, what story? I had to think about it there for a second.
Child in sweatpants, which sounds really weird.
That sounds really, really inappropriate. Yeah. No, one of our favorite fans as well. I'll just toss a name out there. We have wonderful Lovely who has been mentioned multiple times. Yeah. It's okay. She knows. She's not going to mind.
Perfect.
At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure she's not sharing this on any parent groups. So, but she listens to us in the car sometimes whenever she's dropping off her kids. I do not recall how old her kids are because I'm sorry, everyone. No disrespect to anyone specifically. I just suck at guessing how old kids are. I can't tell by the way you look.
I've met her and I feel like she's about probably 10.
Yeah.
I would guess about 10.
Cool. I have no guess.
Either way, if you're listening with your children, please stop. We take about 8 seconds before we say the word fuck. So
yeah, well, maybe she's teaching them what life's about, and life's about the shit we say here on a couple of Sassholes podcasts. No, she definitely went, listened to it, and then asked a teacher about guys in gray sweatpants.
She sure did. This 10-year-old little girl apparently went to her teacher, who then asked Lovely, correct?
I believe so.
She asked Lovely.
She had mentioned all of this right before we hit the road. And so I called Heather to tell her some other stuff. And I was like, how funny is that like a kid went up to a teacher and was like, so what about penises and gray sweatpants? And for all I know, I've interpreted this whole story the wrong way. And
I like your version.
But I like it too.
I like your version. So
I'm not mad about it.
Lovely, don't correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, just let us live in our fantasy.
That's right.
This is our world and this is how we want to fucking talk about it. Speaking of stupid things, so Heather's like, what is the banter list that we have today? And I was like, I don't remember. I didn't write anything in it. And she was like, what about the house with the sign? Because that's all I put on there. And let me tell you guys.
Okay, good, because I don't know this one at all.
This one, because I wrote it when I was going on a walk. But Deer Valley is where we live. And if you listen to the podcast and you live in Deer Valley, I love you. You're wonderful. Thanks for being who you are. If you're a Karen, it sucks to be a Karen. And they are what they are. But there's this house.
Okay.
That has a full sign, like not a sign that is like a shitty sign, like a very nice yard sign.
Okay.
And it's like, smile, you're on camera. If your dog craps in our yard, we have you on camera, and we're basically going to...
What are they going to do with that?
Put it on the Facebook page, I'd guess.
And then be like, come pick up this turd?
I don't...
What are you going to do with that?
Okay, I don't know. So I have a corner lot, and one of our neighbors' dogs, Keaton and Megan, like their dog will come and leave the most massive turds in our yard. But we have dogs, so it doesn't really bother us. And if we're worried about it, we just clean it up. Why people get all so intense that they install a side camera, because they installed a side camera.
Wow.
And it's like a laminated nice ass yard. Like, it is a nice sign. And I'm just like, like I drove one day and I was with Travis and I was like, what the fuck did that? And I was thinking when I was walking, and I'd like turned back around and we drove up to it because I had to know what the sign said. Yes. What the fuck?
That's wild.
What are we doing, guys? What are we doing with our lives? Everyone is. They need to take a breather, read the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because it has been doing wonders for me. Basically saying like the internet has created an amazing boom in our like industry and business, but it's also created a million psychological issues, and that's why so many influencers are committing suicide. Like, there's just too much going on for us to be worried about all of it. You gotta let go. It's fine.
That's
Elsa,
right.
that shit.
The Elsa. That's right.
Yeah. You know what I don't want to let go of?
What?
Is the excitement of the story that you're about to tell me. And also, so Heather got me a whole bunch of ring pops, and I told her I was going to eat a ring pop on the podcast so that she would get all pissy over it. And she did. She successfully did get pissy over the concept. But real quick, if you guys haven't looked at a ring pop in a long time, if you don't know why she got me a ring pop, it's because I'm engaged. I just wanted to remind everyone. I thought these were so much bigger when I was a kid.
Yeah. Are you shaming me from the ring pop? No, I remember those from when we were younger. And it's probably because, I've always had big banana hands.
Heather has the tiniest, most delicate baby fingers in the world.
They're just skinny.
Her engagement ring would not even fit on my pinky. My pinky's like, that's funny. I was that size when I was 12.
Well, I'm glad one part of me's skinny. I got it.
Shut your face. Anyway, I just remember these taking forever to eat. And I'm pretty sure if I just bit this once, it's over. But tell us the story. I'm excited because I really just get to sit here with my ring pop and have Heather serenade me with the story of sadness and death.
Yeah, I don't know about serenade, if that's the right word, but we're going to go for it.
I'm so excited.
And you already know the story.
I do.
But I think that you might not remember all of the details, so you're still going to be like...
How do you know I know the story?
Because we listened to an episode about it together.
Oh.
Larry Ray and the Sarah Lawrence sex cult. Yes, you remember. I'm going to keep going, and then we're going to listen for the shock and awe.
Oh, I always love when I'm like,
yeah, that's what you're going to do.
Okay. I got a little lightheaded when I did that. Golly.
The sources, New York Post, Wikipedia, and then I got a ton of this. So if you haven't seen this documentary on Hulu, The Stolen Youth Inside the Cult at Sarah Lawrence. So just so you know, if you want to watch it.
Oh, fuck.
You just figured out what it is.
Oh, my God. It just slapped me on the side of my head. Oh.
Get ready.
Henny. Already.
Okay. So I wanted to say trigger warning. Literally, I don't even go into all the details because they were so disturbing. But like, this whole thing is fucked up. And I'm not victim shaming whatsoever about any of it. But outside looking in, it's just like, how?
And there's videos. So anytime there's videos and you get to actually see what people are verbally saying happen, and you're like, honestly, what the absolute fuck?
Yeah, I mean,
this is hard not to victim shame almost, to be honest.
Well, first of all, I knew the whole story back when we heard it in 2022. But now I watched the documentary.
Ooh.
And it's fucking nutso. They recorded
I think I saw half of it.
It just came, I think it just came out recently. So I don't know.
It was really recent. Okay. I'll be quiet and I'll now let you start.
Okay. Lawrence Greco, a.k.a. Larry Ray, was born in Brooklyn in 1959. And Ray was his stepdad's name, so he took that. And there's really not much known about his childhood and upbringing, which I think is really odd considering how fucked up he is. Like, you kind of want to know, you know me, I want to know why. And then you can't find anything. But when he was 22 in 1981, he was in the Air Force for a whopping 19 days. So,
what a hero.
Yeah. Then somehow he goes to work on Wall Street without a college degree and then got in with these super powerful people in New York and New Jersey. So like politicians, high-ranking military officials, law enforcement, even the mafia, like big deals. He got married to a woman named Teresa in 1988. He was 29, and then they had Talia, their daughter, the following year. He begins business consulting, which I do air quotes because, you know, I don't know what that means. And then he's part owner of a nightclub in Scotch Plains, New Jersey.
Everything about this is already confusing and weird. By confusing, I'm like, how?
Yeah, the whole thing is
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, the whole thing. So you can keep
I'll
up.
Buckle up. I'll buckle up.
Have faith. You can keep up. Okay. Larry's 41. He was charged with securities fraud with 18 other people, and he pled guilty to accepting a bribe. 2003, he gets 5 years probation. 2004, he and Teresa have another daughter named Ava, and then she apparently just falls off the face of the earth. Like, you don't hear much about her anymore.
Good for her.
Their marriage fell apart shortly after this. They were already on the rocks, and she filed for divorce from him. So Larry and now 15-year-old Talia, they both made accusations that Teresa physically and sexually abused the kids. So like Talia's like, mommy hurt me. In court, it was proven that Larry coerced Talia into saying all that, and the allegations were dismissed. And then his wife got full custody of both girls.
Wow. At least it was proven, and she wasn't like arrested and taken to jail.
Yeah, but still, that's a bad, like, even if you get
honey,
found not guilty, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It still looks bad. And during one of the court-ordered visits, Larry refused to give the girls back, which got him 6 months in jail for contempt and interference with custody. In 2006, he trapped his girlfriend at the time in their apartment, shoved his hand over her nose and mouth, and he was arrested for that. Before they could charge him, though, she dropped the complaint.
I don't know that I would do that, but okay, girl.
Okay, cut to 2009. Talia's now 20. And she's a freshman at Sarah Lawrence College. And it's a private liberal arts school in New York. So think about 1,700 students, very famous for producing great artists, performers, and that sort of thing. In March of 2010, Larry went back to jail again over custody of her sister. And Talia is so pro-Larry at this point, it's unreal. She's been convinced that her mother is working with corrupt politicians that have it out for him, and he's done nothing wrong.
I am so intrigued on like
he convinced his daughter because
it's not that hard to convince your daughters of lies, but
I mean, that one,
who knows?
He worked on her for 5+ years though.
Yeah.
She like her whole life. Why did the politicians care? I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, weirdo.
Because he said that he was friends with them or whatever. So. And at the start of the fall semester, Talia and 7 of her closest friends win this lottery type situation for on-campus housing at Sloanham Woods. So 8 single rooms for each student. There's a common area and a living room and a kitchen. Like everybody wants to live in this part at the school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here is who all that was like in the house or in the townhouse at the time. And I'll tell you a little bit about each of them as we go along. So some of them fall off, some of them stay, but you guys can keep
Can
up.
you guys hear me nodding my head? Yes. I'm like, yes,
I do love
yes.
it does make me feel better whenever you do that though.
Yes.
Talia, who was a year older than everybody else, and she was kind of the Ling reader. She read a lot of Ling, the ringleader of the group. Santos was her boyfriend, and he had a lot of mental health struggles. Then there was Daniel, and there wasn't a lot said about him. Isabella, who was Talia's best friend, and she was there on a full academic scholarship. Claudia, super smart, but she also struggled with depression. And then Gabe, Max, and Juliana. This group was like all amazing students. They were kind of introverted. They were super focused on their schooling, but they all bonded over all of this. So they were really close.
I'm Googling it. Don't yell at me.
Okay.
I want to see their faces. I can't remember.
In September, Talia's like, hey, my dad's getting out of jail and he needs somewhere to go. So he's going to stay here.
That's a shit, guys. If there's a table, I'm fucking flipping it.
She's like,
that makes no sense. Yeah. That sounds very rapey. That sounds very, I'm going to fuck your friends. That sounds very fuck to the fuck no.
Right? That's what I thought too. She apparently talked about her dad nonstop. They would be at parties and she would talk so much about her dad that she would make other people feel real weird. But they were like, hey, that's our friend. She was kind of in charge, quote unquote. And like, they wanted to help her out. So they went along with it. They were like, that's fine. Because they thought temporary.
Ew.
And then keep in mind, too, they thought he was noble because she kept saying, oh, he fought for me and that's why he went to jail. And her mother was abusive and he got railroaded by the government. So then they were finally like, fine. Plus, he had her convinced that he was a former CIA agent and a Marine.
Right.
Mm-hmm. How weird would this be, though? And it's on campus. Like, I love my dad to death, but I don't think I would want him when I was 20 years old to move in with me on my college campus with 7 of my friends.
I was literally a trash whore at that age. Like, my dad would be so disgusted with me. Not to mention, he was a little hateful. Like, I do not think he would have been like, yeah, this is what I want to do. But if you were going to explain what Larry Ray looked like, I don't know. If Homer Simpson was a person.
Oh my God.
Right?
Mm-hmm. But I like Homer way more. But yeah.
What's the one guy that was always high and he was fat and he was the one drinking beer and had like a goatee? I don't know. Maybe he looks like that guy too. Google him, guys. He's ugly. So it makes no sense. Even if he was charming, he's
hot people get away
still
with more.
Gross. Yeah.
Like if you're
one
like,
should.
My dad's going to come live here and he used to be a Marine, and then Channing Tatum or Jason Momoa walks in, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. I guess he can stay forever.
Yeah. Yes. And then I just steal all his bathroom towels. Just walk to the room naked.
Oh, I was like, what?
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, so that he can't use it.
I get it.
Give him just hand towels in there. I like walk to the room, deady. Yeah.
I was real confused. I'm like, what
I could literally sense her confusion.
Okay, so her friends were like, it's temporary, so it's fine. And then he gets there, he brings an air mattress in Talia's room, and then he just makes himself at home. He starts doing all the cooking, like steaks and shit. He cleans too, so it's like a college kid's dream. That no more ramen, like dorm dads here. He's buying them steaks and shit. So of course they're like, ooh.
Right.
They start having movie nights and telling him that tell him all his CIA and Marine stories. So they start to see him as like a father figure and a fixture around the townhouse. They start coming to him with problems and advice. Isabella breaks up with her boyfriend, and then she goes to Larry, who helps her through that. Mm-hmm. Basically, he's doing that love bomb thing, which means, quote, to lavish with attention or affection, especially in the order to influence or manipulate them. So, like, he's throwing all this love at him right up front, and then he's using it to his advantage. So
it's a super thing.
He casually brings up a philosophy of his called Quest for Potential, which doesn't that sound like some NXIVM bullshit?
Yeah. It still sounds like something I'd sign up for. I would check the box.
These kids are, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah. He
said he can teach them mind control techniques that he learned when he worked for the CIA. Yeah.
I'd be so sold. But he's ugly. That's what would take it away from me.
You mean like,
I'm like, I don't think the CIA, I've seen movies and the CIA does not hire gross looking people like you.
You look like James Bond.
So
sir.
Shaken, not stirred, honey.
He told them stories about how he still controlled New York City politics, but some of the politicians didn't like him, so they tried to have him poisoned. And then I even put in here, think 19-year-old us, and hearing all this, and we were like young and very impressionable, and it's their best friend's dad. So they already felt safe around him.
Right.
Because of that.
I also think, too, there's still this concept of an adult, right? At 19, you still do not feel like you're an adult.
Right? No.
I fucking barely do at 35.
I still don't now. No. I call like housework chores. So, yeah, I don't. No.
She does.
I do.
She really does, guys.
Because I don't like it. So Larry starts having long private talks with the students, and they confide their deep, dark secrets to him, and he calls it therapy. So they tell him things they don't feel like they can tell their parents. He convinced Claudia out of nowhere that she has schizophrenia. The kids go to smoke weed one day, and she's like, oh, I can't. I'm schizophrenic. And they're like, what? They've known her for a while, and she's just out of nowhere. Then Larry tells them all this to confirm it, and then he's tricking them into talking to him and using their words against him. Kind of like that Scientology stuff where they do they hold the cans and they do the interrogations.
Yes. Sorry, I was like, yes.
This is all within a few months, keep in mind. So he worked pretty fast on that. So he whips out the Quest for Potential like 2 months in to his little air mattress escapade. He starts holding what he calls family dinners and house meetings where he's telling all them that they're all broken and he's the only one that can fix them. So like they walk in and he's like, come to dinner, and all creepy, and then he's like going to fix them. Then he starts having sex with Isabella. So she's 19 and he's like 50 and looks like that. Yeah.
Okay, I need to look up Isabella.
Yeah. And she's pretty.
Right? Sorry.
It's okay.
That was pretty much what just happened. Do you think he came into this situation with the intention of doing this, or do you think it just happened?
He probably came for like with no plan and then was like, oh, opportunity. Or she'd been talking to him about all her friends, because if he already had control of her mind, then she's probably told him way more than what she should have about her friends. And he probably saw opportunity because he's like predatory.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably an opportunity.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, y'all little butterflies don't know what to do with yourselves. Let daddy tell you what to do.
Right before holiday break 2010, Larry called Isabella's family and he says, hey, Isabella was sexually abused by a family friend, and if she comes home for the break, she's going to kill herself.
Whoa.
He tells her mom this. And then he goes on to tell her mom that her mom had failed her daughter and it was her fault and she had let it happen to her.
Wow.
So just
this fucking stranger. I'd be,
then,
oh my God, I would drive there.
Yeah.
And beat him in the face.
The calls were on the documentary because he literally recorded everything. So Larry did it, and it is bone chilling just hearing him talk to this woman he's never met about her daughter and say these things. And
oh my gosh, I want to watch the documentary.
it's so good. It's so disturbing, but man, it's good.
What is it on again? My apologies.
Hulu. Larry's friend lets him stay in a 1-bedroom apartment rent-free on the Upper East Side of Manhattan for their quote-unquote winter break because they had to leave campus. He invites all the students to come spend winter break there with him. It's a 1-bedroom apartment, right, in Manhattan. From what I've seen on the movies, because I've never been there, it's tiny.
Yeah, they're very small.
Yeah. So Isabella goes and she stays in the only bedroom with Larry because they're sleeping together. Talia, who is Isabella's best friend, so that still weirds me out a little bit. Talia and her boyfriend Santos, they sleep in the living room.
I could not be best friends with anyone having sex with my dad.
Right?
That is my age.
In the same or at all. Like, it's a lot.
Oh my God, the fact that you're like one door over. I want to vomit. I'm about to call my dad.
And say what? Don't sleep with Heather? What are you going to call him?
I'm going to call him and I'm just going to be like, hey, thanks for not being a creeper.
Right?
And he'll be like, I don't understand. Did you do something weird on your podcast? And I'd say yes. And I'd be like, you're weird and I love you. Goodbye. That's how that would go.
Yeah. He runs the house like super controlling parent. So when he tells them when they eat, when they sleep, even what they do and when. He talks Santos into stop taking his antipsychotic medication. And then he breaks up with Talia. Also Larry's persuasion. So like he gets his daughter's boyfriend to break up with her.
Isabella is really pretty.
After the winter break, they all move back to the campus townhouse, including Larry. So they all go back. Larry comes back still, supposed to be temporary. He's been there for months. Their world starts to revolve around him, and all their parents are like, why is Larry still there? Like they're like the kids are starting to talk to their parents about it, and now he's like, they're like, why is he still? Why? That doesn't make sense.
This feels weird, and I don't care for it.
Claudia's parents call the dean of Sarah Lawrence, and he acknowledged that he had heard that, but parents have a right to visit their children, so he can't do anything about it.
Okay, they should have done something.
That's bullshit.
That's extreme bullshit.
That's not a visit.
Yeah.
That's not a visit. He returned. Like, no.
He moved in and lived there and received his mail at that address.
Right? Yeah. The spring semester 2011 finishes, and Larry moves back to the Manhattan apartment, and Talia, Isabella, Claudia, and Santos come with them. Their other roommate, Daniel, had just gotten out of a serious relationship with a girl, and now he was kind of questioning his sexuality. So Larry takes him for coffee. He's like, come talk to me. And they do the quote-unquote therapy. He talked to him for 6 hours, and at the end of it, he moved into the apartment too.
So he could do the sex too.
After this, because Larry's like, he's like, you're attracted to men? And he's like, I don't think so. And he's like, oh, you're not gay.
Then why did he question his sexuality then?
That's what I don't know. That's what he said on the documentary. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, now that it became a documentary, he probably is like, let me whistle a different tune.
And after this happens, like Daniel comes in, then he goes off the rails even more. He removed the doorknobs from the bathroom. Like he didn't want them to have any privacy. And then most of them are sleeping in the living room anyway. So they had no privacy. His therapy sessions start to become interrogations, and then it gets even weirder. So Claudia and Daniel leave and they go abroad for a summer. And Santos is like, oh, there's 2 extra spots in here. These are my sisters.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Why does he think there's 2 extra spots when it's a fucking 1 bedroom?
Yeah, well, quote unquote spot. Like
I know, but I'm like,
come here and visit. They're not here.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and you can see pictures of it, and there's like tiny air mattresses. It looks like a big ass sleepover, like in the So 23-year-old Yalitza is a Columbia undergrad student, not like going to community college or anything. They're all like smart. And 29-year-old Felicia went to Harvard on a full ride, and she had just finished med school at Columbia. So on her way to be a doctor. Felicia moved to LA to start her residency, and Larry starts calling her like after she leaves. She said she immediately fell in love with him. They were both smart. He mind fucked her just like he did everybody else, and she's super smart, so she could have intelligent conversations, she thought, with him. So she said, So he starts calling her, and I still don't understand the fell for him immediately, but she sure did say it on the documentary.
Ugh.
They start dating long distance, and they do super fast the I love yous and the you're going to be my wife one day thing.
Even though he was banging...
She doesn't know that part.
Of course.
She didn't figure that. Like, she didn't put 2 and 2 together. Like, no. He does that shit with her. He convinces her that people are after her and trying to hurt her.
These people are actually all really attractive, too.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to be better guys.
Meanwhile, he starts abusing the group using sleep deprivation tactics, sexual humiliation, that's hard to say, psychological humiliation, physical violence, and literally everything you could think of. For some reason, he records everything. And the documentary is bananas. I cannot stress that enough.
I saw one video and was like, what the fuck?
You got to mentally prep. And his voice is creepy because there's a lot of voice recordings. And you could see him talking to it. It's a lot. He's also convincing them that their families are all bad people. So he starts to, do the culty thing and isolate them, like textbook cult shit.
Right.
He starts making them confess to stuff they didn't even do during the interrogations. Like, he talks them into doing it. He says, oh, you broke my stuff, or you damaged the apartment, and you've hurt me personally by doing blah, blah, whatever.
Weirdo.
He makes them keep a notebook and write it all down of the stuff that they've allegedly done. In 2012, Felicia quits her residency 2 weeks before she took the final test to be a doctor.
Oh my gosh.
And she moved to Manhattan with him, to be with him. She can
just wait 2 weeks to take the test.
She thought she was 120% convinced that people were out to get her and following her and trying to kill her because of him over the phone. Like, yeah.
So easy to say, and like, I don't know. That would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And when you're like an attractive person and people are just organically looking at you, she's probably thinking people are staring at her and noticing the same faces or some crazy shit. She got super paranoid.
Yeah, he put a little ninja in her brain and then ran with it, and he talked to her all the time. So Felicia gets to Manhattan thinking, oh, I'm Larry's girlfriend, right? She gets there, figures out Isabella's sleeping with him naked every night. And she's like, wait, what? And then Larry gaslit her, and he's like, aren't you a strong progressive woman? This isn't a big deal. Even though he asked her to sleep in bed with him naked also, and Isabella sleeps naked, holds his dick with her leg over him all night. And he said, well, you're a progressive woman, so it's not a big deal. Why do you think it's a big deal?
There's another woman sleeping naked holding his dick.
In the same bed.
Obviously.
Yeah. Like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would have turned around.
So he's literally now just seeing how far he can go.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. And somehow he gets Felicia, it escalates real quick, to start fucking strangers, literally sleeping with them in public areas while he watched. So she went from being a doctor to this.
So was she doing this for money? And what do you mean? Like she would... Okay.
It's okay. No, I've got questions are valid. He was trying to coerce her into sex work so he could get the money. So he was trying to push her into that. She was so bad off mentally. The videos of her were disturbing as fuck. And she tried to take her own life.
I would too.
Yeah. Like, then Larry accuses Daniel of intentionally sabotaging Talia, his daughter's application to law school.
Because that's a thing.
Yeah. Do you want to know the punishment for this?
No.
You won't. He does a super extreme interrogation. He makes a noose out of aluminum foil and plastic wrap and puts it around Daniel's dick. Every time he doesn't like the answer, he tightens it.
It's aluminum foil.
Huh?
It's just aluminum foil.
And saran wrap noose that's being squeezed around your penis?
Well, deal. You let somebody put something around your penis. He didn't hold you down.
But I mean,
I don't care.
We're not.
I'm sorry. I'm not victim shaming, but
man.
Come the fuck on, people.
I mean, it's hard to believe, but being in that environment, you don't know. I mean, who knows? So he continues physically abusing them and tells everyone about Daniel, saying, oh, he thinks he might be gay. And he makes him wear a dress to go get the mail and makes everybody laugh at him while he's trying to humiliate him. Shortly after this dick noose, he starts making them fuck each other while he watches.
Where's his daughter?
She's still there.
Oh my God.
Larry takes pictures of them and records it, both audio and video, for blackmail. Okay.
I'm going to have to stop talking because it's hard to not victim shame or something.
2013, Daniel goes,
I just don't see how you even stumbled into this. Like, here's my thing. Is like, I honestly, because an adult had a deep conversation with you. That's what it is. And he made you a steak.
I'm gonna say it later, but I'll go ahead and say it now. Like, he was evaluated psychologically for court. And the doctor said he has the ability to manipulate, and this is a very veteran doctor, like anyone he has ever seen before in his entire life. And he couldn't even make a professional diagnosis on him because he was that manipulative.
Oh my gosh.
Like, this guy is they said they'd never seen anything like it.
So maybe he should have been working for the CIA.
I mean, maybe. In 2013, Daniel went back to Sarah Lawrence for his senior semester, and he's over all that shit, obviously. But he's terrified, so he doesn't know who he can trust, who's still in it, who's not. Because a few of the people fell out. Like, they were like, y'all are fucking, no, I'm not doing this. They escaped before it got too deep. Larry starts throwing money around, buying them all expensive dinners, presents, and that sort of thing. This is the same time he gets Talia and Isabella to start participating in the interrogation sessions. So, like, making him his little...
lieutenants.
It's weird that you said that, because that's what she was called in court. Oh, you saw her. Oh, you cheated.
I did cheat.
And remember those notebooks and the accusations about all the damages? He starts extorting money from the students and totaling these infractions with like hundreds of thousands of dollars, being like, well, you broke the shelf, you owe me $2,000. Like, and
oh my gosh.
It all adds up. And they're all college students. So they all go to their parents and their friends and ask for money. They open lines of credit. They pawn stuff. He threatens to go to the police or dismember them if they don't give it to him.
Oh, police or murder. Okay.
Right? Santos threatened to kill himself if his parents didn't give him the cash. And his dad was like, no. And he tries to go to the apartment, but Larry blocks him and won't let him in. So instead, Santos robbed his parents' family business of $100,000. And they had to sell their house to cover the costs of him taking all that money.
Oh, my goodness. This makes me so mad.
Oh, yeah. His parents went to the NYPD 3 times, but every time the cops said, well, they're 20 and they're adults, so they're acting on their own free will and we can't do anything.
Right.
Larry starts accusing all the I could say kids, but all the students of poisoning him, and they get interrogated on videotape and they're abused if they don't admit it. One of them, he was like, he had a clamp on their tongue and he was like yanking it, and so it's wild. He keeps taunting Santos and encouraging him, after he made him stop taking his depression medication, to jump out of the window.
Oh my gosh.
Spring of 2013, Daniel, Talia, and Isabella, they all graduate from Sarah Lawrence. Santos dropped out so he could spend all his time with Larry. He didn't even graduate. May of 2013, Larry takes Claudia, Isabella, Santos, and Yalitza to Pinehurst, North Carolina, because his stepfather owns a property down there. Larry wanted to renovate this. He forces them to work their dicks off for crazy hours, with no pay, of course. Makes them sleep outside. Puts a lock on the fridge. And then he starts his bullshit with you broke my stuff, you did bad work.
Why is that so... What a weirdo.
Yeah. And then he threatens them more, of course. Yeah. They were there until December of that year. So May until December. And then they went back to the New York apartment. But Talia stayed somehow. Like, he allowed her to stay down there with family instead. Claudia lost 40 pounds during all this. And they were breaking down mentally and physically. Like, they showed pictures and stuff.
7 months of extreme torture pulled away from their families. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah. Claudia graduated in December of 2013. And she banned her parents from coming to the graduation, but Larry was there. She told her parents absolutely not.
Oh my
she
gosh,
got enrolled in Columbia after
parents.
this, and she started working part-time at a data analytics firm. She kind of like let her parents back in a little bit. She'd go visit every now and then, but she mainly was with Larry. And then Daniel one day, he's just, he was the one that was like, this is fucking weird. He comes across a website that was listed out the characteristics of a cult. And he was like, oh my God, I was in a cult. Like, it never clicked until that moment.
Wow.
Yeah. 2014, Larry does all that whole you broke my shit stuff again, but in North Carolina. So to pay them back, she has to become a sex worker. So Claudia, he's like, you owe me all this money, so you have to go be a sex worker per his orders.
Nope, not happening.
Yeah.
It is not happening.
Isabella is talked into being her pimp So she arranges all of her appointments, and they are $2,000 an hour, by the way.
Could you imagine if some guy was just like, Heather, you're Brooklyn's pimp from now on. Coordinate her getting fucked by strangers. It's like, what the fuck?
So weird. Oh, get this. It gets worse. It gets worse. And I'm laughing because it's just, we're outside looking and I just
And
can't
she also
wrap
just
my
like
head
banged her
around.
head
And
on the
that I really
microphone.
did. I'm sure it came back to her.
Let's also mention that there was a whoopsie.
So Claudia is forced to record all of her appointments as proof for this douchebag, and then he uses it as blackmail. So I know you're going to be shocked, but he kept all her money.
Oh,
Right?
I wasn't expecting that.
Right, I know. In 2014, Claudia, she attempted suicide, and then she got rushed to the hospital. Her parents, and at this point, her parents had moved to New York City to try to be closer to her, like to keep her in her life because they didn't want to get her to push them away more. They rushed to the hospital to see her. Claudia will not see them, and she will only talk to Larry. Like the whole reason why she tried to kill herself, and she won't see her parents. What the fuck? This keeps going on, and I'm leaving out a lot of details, by the way.
Yeah. Which I am appreciative because I want to, number one, watch the documentary, but I also want to punch someone in the face.
Yeah. All this shit keeps going on through 2015. So the sex trafficking, the humiliation shit, like the abuse, the videos and the recordings of the documentary, like it haunted me, like for real. At this point, he has the power to literally make them do whatever he wants. Santos is somehow like, I need to get out of here. So one day he just leaves, and then he has to go to a homeless shelter because he has nowhere to go. He cut everybody off.
Good for him.
Yeah. Shortly after this.
You know what I mean. For anyone that's like, good for him. Eat my dick. I'm talking about good for him
like
for leaving.
He ran out. Yeah.
Yeah.
After this, Larry's friend kicks him out because he realizes he has all these kids living with him, and he made so many unauthorized changes to his apartment that he lived in rent-free, by the way. And he was like, this is weird. Like, you're doing weird shit. I don't know why, and I couldn't figure out why it took his friend so long to figure that out. Like, did he never stop by and be like, just checking on my free place you're living in?
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything. But, like, what?
Yeah.
Because that was a long time.
Yeah. Years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So how does Larry respond whenever
Such
he's
a
like...
weird sound. Sorry.
It's okay. Whenever Larry responds by countersuing him, who let him live rent-free, and he did all this shit to his house with all this...
Of course he did, because he's a fucking narcissistic psychopath.
So he countersued him with Felicia, Isabella, and Talia as co-plaintiffs on the lawsuit. So I just can't get over that he did that. He's like, hey, you need to leave.
That's what we can't get over?
I can't get over any of it. Really.
I know. It doesn't surprise. At that point, it's like, oh, you're a narcissist. You have extreme issues. And you're like, oh, it's still not my fault. Nothing's his fault.
Yeah, no.
And fuck that. I don't know. You could not talk me into having sex with people for money. You can't just talk me into that.
No.
You can't tell me I need to do that to pay you for things I didn't do.
No.
It's not happening.
I'll just Venmo request you.
I will just leave
I'm not gonna
you.
be like, go
I
bang
will
that
leave.
guy. The amount of grooming and all that stuff, like it's hard to outside looking in to even look at this whole thing. You're like, what?
Yeah, and that's why you said in the very beginning that you weren't victim shaming, because it's like, how do you not get mad at all of this? Because it's so extreme and there's so much brutality in it. It's not like some of the other sex cults that we've talked about, like Nexium and stuff, where there was a little bit of branding, you took a little bit of money, and maybe you had sex with a guy that seemed to have like a god complex. But it wasn't...
Nothing like this.
It was nothing like that.
I've never heard a story like this.
Yeah.
I mean, no. So Larry had met a guy in prison who owned a house in New Jersey, so he let him and Felicia and Isabella move into that. Talia's still down in North Carolina with family. 2017, this is years. Claudia's parents are still fighting for her, and they go to the cops again. They say, hey, she's an adult, we can't do anything, but to shut her parents up, they went and did it. They're like, fine, we'll go do a wellness check. Please shut up, we'll go do it. They concluded, she's an adult, so she's not being forced to do anything. How heartbreaking to hear that is.
That's why you have to get those cult. What are they called? I don't know what they're called, but cult exiters or something. Like they're specifically people.
What is it called?
I can't think of what it's called. But
people are going to text us
fuck,
because
I'm gonna just Google it because
last
crazy.
time the word I was looking for
and
was
then I get
dismembered.
fucking Thursday at 7 a.m. and you're getting text messages. The word is da da da.
That's what I got.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, I
helps
appreciate
now.
it. Help my grammar. It's okay. Cut to October 16th, 2018. Larry decided that Claudia needed to be punished because she got too friendly with the client that he is forcing her to sleep with. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. Isabella records this on film. So he makes Claudia, oh God, I hate this part. He makes Claudia take off all her clothes. He ties her to a chair. He puts a leash around her neck and begins choking her. Then he puts a plastic bag over her head. He almost suffocates her over and over and over. And then he cuts her hair off. This is for 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
He does this for 8.
Because he was jealous.
Because
that she looked like she may have enjoyed sex too much with one of her clients.
Yeah.
It's called deprogrammers.
That's it.
Yep.
But isn't that fucking... Okay.
Yeah, it is.
The next day, her old boss, Claudia's old boss, helps her run away. And she finally got to go back to her parents because she finally was like, no. Larry had sex trafficked her for 4 years. And keep this in mind. 4 years, 3 to 5 clients per day, every single day. So he made $2.5 million off of her. $2.5 million. Right? And he
okay, now you can talk me into sex trafficking. Just kidding. Travis, don't get antsy. I'm a classy broad. But like...
You did say weddings are expensive.
I know, right? My goodness, though. Like...
That's... Yeah. So... And he found ways to launder it, too. Which I still don't know what that means.
It means... All it is it's...
You invest it in like phony shit and make it...
You run it through like it could be literally taking money and running it through the laundromat and getting quarters and now it's clean. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you making sure, especially if you steal money or you know that it's drug money, the numbers on the bills, they can tie that to drug or cult or terrorist things. And so you have to like launder it through different companies and shit, hoping that it, I don't fucking know.
You know what it makes me think of? Like those money machines. What are they called? The money booths where you go and try to grab the dollars.
Fucking go for that. Do that. Anyway.
Okay. 2019, 2 reporters from New York Magazine, they hear about this from Daniel. And they're like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Daniel's like, hey, this is weird. I think I was in a cult. And they're like, what? And they start looking at it. They found Santos and they reached out to him to talk to him about all this. He calls Larry to tell him. I don't know why still. And Larry sucks him right back in. He got him to drain his bank accounts, and all the money he'd saved up after he escaped, he gave it right back to him.
Why? Oh my, I'm getting so mad.
Yeah.
I'm getting so mad. It's making my stomach ache.
It
could have also been the ring pop I ate, but
Felicia and Isabella, who are still living with him in New Jersey, they get visits from both of their parents, and they refuse to leave because they're still devoted and brainwashed. They're like, no, go away. February 2020. This is so long.
Oh my gosh.
So long. It was 10 years. That was 10 years.
A 10-year cult.
Yeah.
Could you imagine having sex with that many people? Like, was she not terrified of getting all the things that happen when you have sex with that many people in a day?
I
know what I mean?
It would be a fear, but she was so, like, Larry could have probably said, oh, you won't get anything. And she's probably like, okay. February 2020, Larry is finally arrested since those reporters published his story, so all of his dirty laundry was aired. He was charged in New York with extortion, conspiracy, sex trafficking, forced labor, racketeering, violating the Travel Act, 4 counts of tax evasion, and money laundering. And luckily, he was denied bail.
I just want to say congratulations to the cops who did not do their fucking jobs and had journalists whose degrees are to literally write stories.
Yeah.
Do your job for you.
And the journalists were like, oh, this is weird. Let's dig into it. And they're like, oh, that really happened. Like,
I wish we had more stories where we were like, and the cops did what the cops were paid to do. That's never what happens.
Those are ones that like work out usually. So we don't really talk about the ones that are just pretty straight laced, open and shut.
I mean, the cops are involved because something bad happened there, Sister Mick. So those aren't pretty storylines.
Yeah,
it just means a cop did their job. An investigator investigated.
That's true.
Someone listened to a concerned parent and fucking did something about it.
Yeah. Especially like Claudia's parents who went back 4 times.
That's what I'm saying.
And all the parents kept trying. And Claudia's parents for sure 4 times. In January 2021, Isabella was indicted as a co-conspirator because she wouldn't flip on Larry. They tried to talk to her and she wouldn't do it. And prosecutors called her, like you said, Larry's trusted lieutenant. She was charged with extortion, conspiracy, sex trafficking conspiracy, racketeering conspiracy, money laundering, and she was released on $100,000 bail. She originally pled not guilty in late February 2022, but in September, she pled guilty to a single count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. She said she knew what she was doing was against the law, and she is 31. So she lost all that time. After her sentencing, she got 4.5 years in prison. She stood up to the court for the first time. She actually talked shit about him, finally, after all these years. She said, I badly hurt my friends, and I am ashamed, and I deeply regret it. And she was weeping the whole time. She said, I am truly sorry. I mean, what are you going to say? At least she said that.
So this was after this was after the trial and she got the time?
Yeah.
Because it took her getting in trouble to be like, oh, I did something wrong. Because before that, she was like,
yeah,
praise
and
Larry.
He had.
I don't believe that.
He preyed on her. Like, they showed about her
10 years.
story
Here's what
and
I have to say. You spent 10 years abusing people.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
You're not a victim when you spent 10 years hurting other people in the name of someone else.
Yeah,
like, you're not a victim. You're a fucking shitty human too.
So March 10th of 2022, and I cannot get over how recent this was.
Yeah.
Too. Like, it's not back in the like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like, they were on tripping balls and on LSD, and some guy was like, hey, come with me. And they're like, cool. Like, these were like educated, very smart students. March 10th, 2022, Larry went to trial. He pled not guilty.
Of course he did.
Like a little bitch. And of course, even his court case wasn't normal. He ended up having 2 seizures, and the second one, he went to the hospital. So of course it couldn't just be like, hey, let's just put this guy in jail, right?
Yeah.
He never takes the stand at all in his own defense, which is probably good, because listening to those recordings, he sounds like a crazy wackadoodle dandy. No, it would not have helped. Felicia, Yalitza, Santos, and Claudia all testified him in court, though. So go them.
Yay.
Yes.
Way to go.
The judge actually, during the trial, found that Talia was a co-conspirator and called her out during the trial for everything she did, but before she went to North Carolina and stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then she got out of it before it got too bad.
Yeah. If you think about it, she was essentially his first victim, like I said, like young teen.
Yep.
She was the, like, she
100%.
got the most mind fucked.
Yeah.
And then he figured out he could do that well, even though he already did it because he was in the Air Force for 19 days and then went to Wall Street with no college degree and then talks his way. Like, how do you even?
I don't know. If that was in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't know.
We saw Catch Me If You Can.
You
can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can do it.
April 6, 2022, the jury deliberated for less than 1 day, and Larry, who was 63 at this time, was found guilty without parole on all 15 counts against him. September of that year, he got 60 years with no parole, so he's not getting out.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay.
The U.S. attorney said, and I quote, 12 years ago, Larry Ray moved into his daughter's dorm room at Sarah Lawrence College. When he got there, he met a group of friends who had their whole lives ahead of them. For the next decade, he used violence, threats, psychological abuse to try to control and destroy their lives. He exploited them, he terrorized them, he tortured them. Let me be very clear. Larry Ray is a predator, an evil man who did evil things. Today's verdict finally brings him to justice. This verdict would not have been possible without the victims who testified in court. We are in awe of their bravery to face an incredible trauma. I left out a lot of stuff in the middle, like I said in the documentary, but it's a 3-part series. So if you want to know the whole story, go watch it, but be mentally prepared when you do.
So some of them, okay, the only one that went to jail was, what's her name? Mm-hmm. Not, it's Isabella, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, she got 4.5 years. She gets out in a couple.
And she was the pimp.
Yes.
Okay.
And his, like, when she'd hold the video camera when he had the clamps on the tongues and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to do an update of the victims too.
Yeah, great. Thank you for doing that. Let's all give a little bravo to Heather for really rounding out this story.
Well, I don't want to highlight he's so psycho.
Fuck him. I hope he dies. I hope he's getting fucked in the butthole and he doesn't like it.
And he does. I like that you added.
Well, I mean, if you're getting fucked in the ass and you love it, you get fucked in the ass. You no kink shame.
I love
get
that. No, I
it
love
in
that
your
you
butthole.
just said that. You were
but
like,
I hope he doesn't like it. I hope he doesn't like it and he's not enjoying it. Mm-hmm. I hope it makes him poop after or during. Nasty. I'll stop.
Claudia Drury, she is still reunited with her friends and family. She chose not to participate in the documentary. And
which one? Sorry.
Claudia, the one who was pimped out.
I too would no longer be named Claudia.
Yeah.
And I would change my name.
I had to dig for her last name.
Yeah, I would change my name and I would not be doing anything. And I would be nope.
Yeah, and I left out the part that
I think she got fucked the most. Oh, that didn't mean that the way.
No, fucked over. That's what you meant. That's what you meant.
Yes.
I didn't mention it, but in the documentary, the they came across her website and they showed her website, and Larry even made her email the dean saying she had done all these transgressions to him. It's real weird. Like, sent it out to the entire student body at Sarah Lawrence and all this weird stuff. But like, she had a website, her escort website, with her prices.
Oh my
and
gosh.
pictures of her that he took, and like, she was on the internet.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor thing.
I know.
Okay, so what happened with her? Sorry.
Okay, well, she wasn't in it. She's reunited with her family, and they think she's doing well. They don't know. Like,
Okay.
I'm obviously probably not mentally, but she's probably working
Hopefully-
on it.
hopefully-
I hope she is.
I mean, when it was 2023 that the
2022 was when he got sentenced.
So not
The
long.
end of
Yeah.
20 yeah. So,
So
like,
she's coping.
yeah. But she's with her family and her friends,
Yeah.
they said, so that's good. In 2021, Daniel, the one that he thought, or he was questioning his sexuality, he published a memoir called Sloanham Woods 9 about his time in Larryland. They sometimes called it Larryland.
Oh, good.
And I left out a part about that too, that after all these things are coming back.
Yeah,
to
of course.
Daniel said that after he went and talked to Larry, he was like, I don't know, And then Larry sent Isabella, who was supposed to be his quote unquote girlfriend that slept with him every night. She sent him out to fuck Daniel. And then he started sitting in on the sessions, quote unquote, and saying, touch her here, do this, do that. Yeah. And then Daniel was like, why? And he just did it. He was like, I don't know. He said, I felt like she was sent to me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fucking, yeah.
Okay, so
Santos.
So he wrote a memoir,
So he
and
wrote a
hopefully he's
memoir
making some money.
about that. Santos is living with his family, so he's and he started a new job, they said recently. So but he's back on his feet, getting there. Yalitza, she graduated from Columbia, and she's pursuing a career in the arts. Felicia, she's the older sister of Santos that was going to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. She's working as a management consultant, and she one day hopes to get back into the medical field. So she's still got to work on trying to get back. In response to them reaching out to Sarah Lawrence College, because keep in mind,
Yes, fuck Sarah Lawrence College.
right, the psycho dad living in the dorms, they said in a quote, while, after thorough investigation, the college uncovered no reports or complaints from 2010 that Ray was living or sleeping in his daughter's campus residence, the subsequent accounts of former students indicate that he was. So they're basically like, well, now looking back, we think there was, but there was no reports at the time.
Even though
So it's
it was
kind of
reported
like-
by all the parents saying
It's
that
kind
it
of
was
like a
happening.
bitch ass.
It is.
It's like, oh, you're making a documentary. Well, we acknowledge it now, but there's no reports of it.
All we can legally say is this. But just so you guys know, Sarah Lawrence College is that this is literally known as the Sarah Lawrence College cult on Google. So you're fucked anyway.
I mean, yeah, that was basically a politician's answer to
Yeah.
be here on the bush. Talia is said to be in North Carolina and still with her family members. And even though she was named in the trial by the judge, no formal charges have been filed against her. And she was not in the documentary at all. Isabella, she was on the filming prior to Larry's trial, and she was on film like pro Larry. And then once his trial started and her trial started, she quit answering the producers' calls and stuff. And then she finally, like I said, ended up speaking out against him once she was sentenced. So like,
It sounds like she does not regret it.
And then Gabe, Max, and Juliana, they all got out. And Juliana was at the beginning, and she was like, I thought it was fucking weird. And then everybody else was like, we love Larry. And she's like, no.
And so she just left early?
Yeah. So she
Good for
was
her.
pieced out. And that.
So there is a strong-minded individual who's like,
this is weird. She didn't.
I am going to backwards Ashley Simpson dance out of this fucking room.
Yeah. She did because she.
So there was someone, like, that's all I have to say. Like, I'm not trying to victim shame, right? But I really am over here angry.
Yeah.
And there's a woman who saw it all and thought it was awkward and didn't seduce herself into the concept of group think where everyone else is around you. And so she's just feels like she should believe it too and go with it. She didn't do it and she left. So
she said, I think it was her. She said we were all high all the time. And so she said we started to question, like, is it weird or is it me? And then she was like, oh, it's weird. Like, she figured it out. Like, this is not right. What is happening? She's like, at first it was all fun. And then we're like, she said she even went to one of the other girls and was like, why's her dad still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Isabella's in jail until
She is.
2026 or 2027
She is.
or 2028.
She is, yes. And then Felicia, she was on there before the trial started because she was living with Isabella, right? And then she was on there and she was like an inch away from the camera, the documentary people saying, Larry didn't do this. You all are crazy. And she is dead ass set on he is innocent. Well, then she finally snapped the fuck out of it. Thank goodness.
I don't know that she snapped the fuck out of it, Becky. I love you so much. Mm-hmm. But all of that feels like bullshit. We've seen it a million times in trials where until they get in trouble.
Felicia, who didn't.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
the
doctor. I know it's hard. There's a million girls
and they're
names
all like
close to name. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the one that was going to be a doctor.
Sorry. I'm like,
okay.
no, I do not believe Isabella. I don't believe her at all.
No, I kind of don't either.
I don't either.
Felicia was like in the face saying, oh my God, like he didn't do this. And then, she finally is like, I still think sometimes he's still she calls it Larry brain. She's like, I still get Larry brain. And she was going to be like a psychological doctor at that. Like, so the fact that he got to her so bad, she still can't believe it. And it's like, I can't believe that even happened. So that is the fucked up story of the sex cult leader of Sarah Lawrence, Larry Ray.
Man.
Yeah. I
got a hitch in my giddy up from that.
It's very wild. It's just fucking wild. There's no other, it's sad. And it's fucking crazy.
Stupid. It's stupid and dumb and stupid dumb.
Yeah.
It's just fucking pathetic. I know this, like, I'm not trying to be harsh or anything. And I hope all good things of like the survivors, quote unquote, of it. But it's like, you guys.
It spiraled real quick.
It did.
Real quick.
And that's the other part of it, spiraling so quickly versus like a slow burn and but like we say it spiraled quickly, but it lasted 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, so was it quick or what?
Yeah.
There were just too many they were too smart. They were just too smart.
They were introverted. He used the group setting. He did all these mind control
and it's not even
tricks.
like he made them feel bonded like the other women of like Nexium and stuff. Whereas like you felt like you were becoming like a part of a collective unit of like smart women. You were being turned against each other. You were getting weird.
Yeah. It started like that, though, because he knew they all had not issues, but quote unquote issues. But and then he used their weaknesses. And then he would come there and be like, you're all broken. So they all thought they were broken, kind of like in the congregation, quote unquote, listening to him. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It's really upsetting.
It is very upsetting.
It's upsetting and fuck.
Yeah.
Man, motherfuckers.
I know. Well, he's going to die in jail, so fuck him.
Hopefully, once more, he's getting fucked in the butthole.
In a bad way.
And hopefully in his mouth. I hope his tonsils are getting banged up. How's them apples? How's them hurtful words to Mr. Larry Ray? That's what Brooklyn Maple says. You piece of shit.
Piece of
fucker.
Shit. What's the shirt you want to do? Fuck Marvin Gaye's dad.
That, and then I want one that says fuck murders. But Heather's like, I don't think people will wear shirts that say fuck. And I was like, well, we don't have to spell the whole word fuck out. We can put something under the U. Put a heart.
A heart.
I don't fucking know. Man.
Anyway.
Well, let's talk about something fun. Like, hopefully our photos are going to be coming back here real soon from our photo shoot.
Oh my God, I forgot to mention at the beginning. Yay! We should have them very soon.
Did we even talk about the photos?
We talked about the photo shoot.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
So we do have some promo stuff going on.
We do.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. For sure.
Yeah.
And I've talked to somebody who did a sneak peek. She said they look fucking awesome. And that's a quote. So thanks, Gray. And
yes.
I can't wait to see him.
I can't wait to see him either. And maybe guys, Heather's been trying to do this thing very cult-like where she coerces me into doing things I don't want to do. Like prostitution. I'm kidding.
Don't say that. I just talked for an hour about a cult leader. And you're like, Heather's
she's been trying to talk
me. I'm mind fucking her. So
she's been trying to get me to sell photos of my feet.
Oh, that I do want you to sell photos.
I know she has been trying to do that. Anyway, no, but of doing a live episode.
Yes,
of us doing this
here
little couple of sassholes
here in Owensboro, Kentucky. It'd be for charity though, so we're gonna figure it out.
It's gonna be for Gray.
Yeah,
wonderful Gray Greer.
Yeah, for her.
Who we're all excited about.
Our mission team.
Which is a homeless shelter here in Owensboro.
Yes.
So anyway, Heather's been trying to talk me into that. And for anyone that does not know, I hate speaking in front of people. And yes, I understand that might be trickery because I had a cooking show at one point in my life.
I mean, you were on Lifetime. I can't, you say that and I understand me speaking to you right now. I get that. But I love that you've been on nationally syndicated shows and you're like, I can't do something in Owensboro, Kentucky where we're going to know 50% of the people.
I hate talking in front of human beings.
But I love that you said, you know what? Yes, I'll do it. Sure. Now get out of my office and don't make eye contact with me before I change my mind. Tell her right now. And I had to run out and text her like,
well, I'm just trying to grow, and you can't grow until you get uncomfortable.
yeah.
So I'm just stuck doing it because at this point I've been pushing it off.
She's going to sit like she is right now with her arms crossed, all mad.
All
angry
mad and angry.
And I'm
just
going to be like, this is my best friend. She's like,
welcome to our live. And I'm like, I'm here. And I'm not ready.
Heather made me do this. This is so dumb.
Or I'm like, Heather is the reason for the season because I got drunk.
God.
I'm kidding. I would not do that.
Like our first 10 episodes, how we
Right? How we used to drink during it like it was smart. We could have like one beverage while we did it.
Yeah, we used to like open the cans on the microphone, and now I took a drink of Gatorade 45 minutes away from the microphone.
I know. I was chewing on my ring pop and had to like back up. Hopefully Jordy Bear, Mr. Producer Man, doesn't have to yell at me for that.
He won't.
But I guess we'll keep you guys informed if that happens.
Yes.
And then if you live here in the tri-state area, please come on down to wherever it's going to end up being.
We'll post about it.
Because I'll be scared.
Make direct eye contact with her.
Don't fucking do that.
Okay, I sing karaoke, but doing that's different. Like you and I can sit in this room because I literally felt like I was telling you the story of this that I just did. So sitting in front of people is going to be a little different.
Indeed.
It'll be fine.
It will.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Well, rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes, please.
Well, I'm not saying please. Now I'm being rude. I'm being sassy. Just do
You
it.
sassy little sasshole, you. Well, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Can't wait for our next episode to come out.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it's about, and it's going to be a fun time.
Surprise.
Hey, hashtag wildcard. All right, well, we love you.
Yeah. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Theodore, can I bet that guy?